Toronto is the dish with one spoon territory. The dish with one spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans and all newcomers, have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. As many of you know, and for the ones who do not, my name is Doina Oncel, and I'm the founder of VOLUTION, a nonprofit organization focusing on creating more opportunities for youth, particularly young women in STEM. The demographic we mainly work with is young people from the underserved communities, which come with a diverse background, each unique and deserving in its own way. Statistics show that although 59% of women are science and technology graduates, only 23% of them hold an engineering degree and only 30% of them are math and computer science graduates. In 1987, only 20% of the people working in STEM fields were female, a number that has raised up to only 22% to date. While there's a lot of buzz going on around this issue, not enough is being done to include women in these fields and focus on diversity beyond gender. Talk alone will not create change, yet knowing who to speak to will make a big impact in changing the ratio for women in STEM. VOLUTION was founded based on personal experience as well as research, with the belief that once we accept diversity, opportunities for women in STEM fields would rise. Before the inception of the organization, I knew nothing of STEM. I use it in my everyday life as STEM is something around us, and we all use it without even knowing. I am a social worker by trade, and just over 8 years ago, it was the STEM skills that I stumbled upon that took me from my state of poverty to the state of leadership that I am in today. I have been focusing on gender issues in my past profession, all while I was a new immigrant, low income, youth at risk, having to overcome homelessness and domestic violence, and now a single mother of 2 daughters. I served many women who walked in my shoes. I was on both ends of the system. I had to depend on it for myself, and I used it to assist others as a way to a better life. Nowhere during this time did I ever know about STEM as a skill to independence. Considering that discussions around this topic had taken place for decades with little or no outcome, I was dumbfounded by the fact that underserved communities have been overlooked. And that's a shame, since people that come from these communities in Toronto and Canada have the desire to learn and to contribute to the society just as much as you and I do. How do I know this? As I mentioned before, I was that person from the underserved community, and I wanted to be a contributor to the society. I wanted a better life for my children and I. Someone had taken the time to show me the ropes when I stumbled upon technology, and ever since, the technological skills I gained have been my way to becoming a contributing citizen to the society and to the country I live in. We speak a lot about diversity and how that plays an important role in our economy. Did you know that the underserved communities are made up of groups with high prevalence of visible minorities in our city of Toronto? Also, 65% of low-income children from GTA are under the age of 6. 75% of GTA households are receiving social assistance. Why is that important? Because we know that STEM skills are becoming a requirement to not only get a job, but to maintain a career. If we want to increase the number of women in STEM, all while focusing on diversity, why are we not looking to increase opportunities for people who come from these communities? Why are we not focusing on being inclusive and focus on a strategy that not only closes the gender gap in STEM, but touches base on poverty and a way to independence for women as well, particularly the young women who cannot afford such education? Just the other day, I was invited to be a part of an audience who had the privilege of discussing a report release called Equity, Diversity, and Inclusivity in STEM, Forging Paths to Enhance Innovation in Ontario. This event was hosted by the Faculty of Science of Ryerson and the Canadian Science Policy Centre. There was one key finding in that report that stood out for me. We need to be involved in our children's lives when they are just born in order for them to benefit from what science has to offer. I would like to add to that we need to be involved from before new babies are born, and to start with the young women, many of which are in audience today, to make them a part of their life, and in turn, they will be passing on science as part of life to their children. Another thing that I would like to add, and ask actually, to not forget about the young people who come from the lower socioeconomic demographic. There's a quote that I read many years ago, and it still stands true to me today, as I have the privilege of working with some of the most amazing young women. What if the cure to cancer was stuck in the mind of someone who cannot afford an education? Let's be honest, we do talk a lot about diversity and inclusion. The question that remains unanswered to me is, who are we including and who are we excluding? An organization like VOLUTION exists to make sure that girls and young women from all walks of life are given opportunities as a way to their future career. The organization's efforts has impacted over 2,000 kids across GTA through programming such as the Go STEM Summer Program. The response to the outreach efforts have been extremely positive, and so far, 61.7% of participants have mentioned that these programs have helped them decide their educational path. Yet, while outreaching to the neighborhoods of Toronto and GTA, it has come clear that one of the main reasons why young women do not enter STEM fields is because they do not have enough role models to look up to, and they do not really understand what opportunities are available in STEM. It made it clear that something needed to be done. And that's how the Can Women STEM 150 campaign was born. A form was created, and the general public shared examples of prominent Canadian women in STEM. The response has been overwhelming, and although the fear that it may not be possible to find enough women to feature on this campaign, we reached our quota of 150 women in celebration of Canada 150 in less than 2 months. What is different about this campaign is that the entry was open to all women in STEM. The more diverse, the better. Typically, the same people are seen on various lists and platforms, and many of the women that change the world with their STEM skills are usually behind the scenes. This campaign has made room for everyone to shine. There are women that have been in the field all of their career life, yet no one has ever heard of them. Additionally, women who are entering the field studying STEM are also featured because they make an impact by inspiring other young women to become better versions of themselves. In the past, young women would ask me about the opportunities available in STEM and the women who have made an impact, and it was very hard to pinpoint to one. Now I'm very proud to say that we have over 150 women to choose from, and you can find them all on our website at hervolution.org. We're very happy to have succeeded in bringing diversity to the forefront of the campaign, because many of the young women we focus on serving at VOLUTION are the ones that are not typically seen. The idea of being diverse is to purposely seek diversity. Best yet, some of the women featured in this campaign are brought to life to share their story with people like you who want to know more about their entering STEM and are ready to be part of this solution. 15 women, amazing women I might add, join forces and will be sharing their stories with you today to help bring forward tools and strategies for closing the gender gap and for the STEM industry to become inclusive and diverse. What's interesting about this is that the speakers of this conference were also selected based on their diverse backgrounds in STEM, cultural background, and age diversity. Young women will be sharing what they need in order for us to welcome them in STEM, and it will be our responsibility to deliver so that in 10 years from now, our narrative will not be gender diversity or diversity in general, but talk about the success that these women have created because of their involvement in the discussion with you today. So the pressure is on. The women that you are about to listen to today, who are brought here to share their stories, are a mix of familiar faces and some are unknown, yet their work is just as important as it reflects the importance of inclusion and diversity. In closing, I would like to thank our sponsors who helped make this event a great success and a great example of support of women and diversity in the workplace as well as education. Faculty of Science at Ryerson University, Salesforce and Lighthouse Labs, Thank you for your silver sponsorship. We couldn't have done this without you. Our venue sponsor, 20 Toronto Street Conferences and Events. Thank you for hosting us here today. Thank you. It's a great place to be. Community and media partners who have helped us spread the word about this event, I thank you. And to the volunteers who have given us so much of their time and resources to make this a great experience to everyone, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. I would also like to thank you all for being here. As Jay-Z once said, you could be anywhere in the world today, but you chose to be here with me, so I thank you for that. Thank you.